cappella piece. A cappella means no piano, no instruments, no nothing. At UAL, we're required that each choir does one a cappella piece. And that can be kind of scary if there's no one telling you how pitch goes. All right? So it's kind of hard. No one's holding your hand. You don't have a piano. So we're going to perform Hansen, all right, Folkman song. It is a folk Chinese work song from a long, long time ago. Okay? So it's called Hansen, Postman, Chant, Sea Chant. Our third piece with our third period choir, we're going to do a song by Texas composer, I already know he's in here, Mark Hansen, who actually writes a lot of music for churches. So this piece is called Song of the River, which is a very old school folk song, which is based on the theme Sally Gardens. So this is Song of the River by Mark Hansen.
It seems as it's
batch of ladies I have up here is my 7th grade choir. So believe it or not, at Naval Middle School, we have so many kids that want to be in choir and different skill sets. I have 7 different choir classes. No, that's awesome, man. That's a really awesome thing. Yes. So, thank you. I know, right? So we have 7 classes dedicated just to choir, depending on your skill level, or how many years you did, or if you're a student leader, and I know I need you to be in this one group, because you are it, honey, I need you in that class. So, that's how it is. So our students are in different classes based on their leadership, based on their skill set, and I place them where they're going to be the most successful. At times, I'll have a student in the JV group who's like, I need you to be the leader for this group. There's so many girls coming on you. So I'll do that with some of my students to empower all my students. All right, so next we have our 7th period, the treble choir for 7th and 8th graders. And we're going to start off with a traditional spiritual called I've Been in Storm So Long by local and female composer Christy Jones. Next up is going to be our a cappella piece now, okay, which is in Spanish, okay, Spanish folk song, and by local female composer Christy Jones. All right, yes, all right, and it is titled Balena, which translated means whale.
So
Night Winds by composer Laura Cornell. She taught in Arlington, ISD for many years. So we're going to have Arthur going to be Night Winds by Laura Cornell.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leonis and the Nassau Middle School choirs. We appreciate you very much. And we hope you girls can fit in somewhere. We've got a few seats over here if you want to come sit. Because after we have our Lady of the Year, our Woman of the Year speak, we're going to have dessert and finger foods, which are pretty good and it's going in and out. When the crafty pals, can you hear me? Yeah. When the crafty pals chose Mary Frances Hansen to be our Woman of the Year, I was a little concerned because because of the fact that Mary Frances had turned me down for other times I wanted to honor her. Okay, let's see, how far do I need this? There we go. So, I took a while to ask Mary Frances to accept this honor, but it was a unanimous vote. And I did not nominate her. She's like, no, well, Shirley, you did it. No, the lady is in the room, but it wasn't me. Mary Frances has made a difference in our community because of her love for people. And we all want to grow up to be Mary Frances. So we are grateful to be able to honor Mary Frances as our Crafty Pals, DWUP Union Park International Woman of the Year 2026. Mary Frances.
Words cannot express how grateful I am to receive this honor today. You know, I feel like that our life is a gift from God, and it's all about giving to each other. We all have talents. God gives us all talents. And God has given me the talents of service and abounding love from others. So my talents are help and service and a abounding love for everybody. And I love them unconditionally. And goodness, I'm just so... In my earlier years, I was an ICU nurse at Richardson Hospital. I only worked part-time because at that time, I was still raising my 2 sons and my daughter. And I also worked part-time I did volunteer work at that time too. In 1989, I lost my husband. He was our Rock of Gibraltar in the family. And but in the early 90s, I was young enough that I thought, okay, this is a big loss for you, but I was in my early 50s and I could reinvent myself, which I have done. I became a professional volunteer. I was no longer working at the hospital. I became a professional volunteer. I was with the Alzheimer's Association for 14 years, and at that time they only had 1 staff person. So I went down to Dallas for about several years as a volunteer staff person, and I just loved every minute of it. Well, let's go back into 1993. I received a phone call from a pediatrician, and he wanted to know if I would be his nurse to go on a missionary trip deep into the jungles of the Amazon, and this was through the Crescentwood Baptist Church. And I thought, wow, what an experience that would be. So there was a team of doctors and nurses and 2 dentists, and we flew into Manaus, Brazil, and then we got on the missionary boat. And trust me, the missionary boat is nothing like a cruise ship. If you all remember the movie African Queen with Humphrey Bogart, that was it. Also, I have pictures up here. So later, you all can look at some of the pictures that I have when I was in the Amazon. Anyway, so we traveled up the Amazon River for 7.5 years. Hours. Thank you, Richard. jungles of the Amazon. And whenever the natives heard that there were a group of doctors and nurses and dentists coming in, they came from all over different villages. It was just absolutely amazing. Well, back then, I had long hair, and I wore my hair up, and I must say that I didn't wear hardly any makeup, and I certainly didn't wear any jewelry. And I had a watch, an inexpensive watch that had the American flag on the dial, which was just wonderful. Well, anyway, we saw so many children, and I have to say that in these countries, in third world countries, these people are really happy. They're very happy people because they don't have what we have. And so as we saw all the young children that came in, they all had worms, so we had to deworm them and delice them. But you know what, then we would give them a little sticker because they were such good little kids, it was unbelievable. And they all had, and the worms were caused from their they all had a respiratory disease because of the worms, and I didn't realize that until I went there. And but anyway, and so we would give them a little sticker, and you would have thought that we had given them a toy, so toys are us. Well, there were the people. Then at night we saw them, and I wore scrub suits during the day, and then at night we had church. There was a mission church there, and these natives would come through the jungle with torches to come to church. And it was such a blessing to see so many of these people that became Christians. Well, I was told that, we had to wear, another thing too, we wore clothes at night rather than a scrub suit. We had to dress in normal clothes. So I was told by some of the people that had been there before that we'd give everything away. Well, I want you all to know, I gave every piece of clothing away. I went back on the missionary boat in a paper gown, and there is a picture up there to prove it. And I flew home in a t-shirt and a pair of pants. No jewelry. Okay, let's go back to the 1990s. I was so heavy in volunteer work that I told the Alzheimer's Association I needed a sabbatical. I needed to take a little vacation. So I thought that I would maybe go travel some. So I got this wrong idea that I might like to work on a cruise ship. So I got a resume together. I sent my resume off to Princess Cruises, and they called me and told me to come to Los Angeles for an interview. And the lady that interviewed me, her name was Colleen, and she said, "You are the perfect person for Princess Cruises." Because back then, they only had 5 ships, and they held passengers that were 700 up to 1,700. And that's all, that was as big as their ships were. She says, "We need someone like you." And she says, "I want to tell you why I'm hiring you. Because I know, because of all of your volunteer work, that you really love people." And that is why she hired me. So I traveled the world for, I think I worked with them 6.5 years, something like that. Anyway, and I worked part-time because with the cruise ships, with Princess, because back then I was so heavy into volunteer work, and then my grandchildren were real young then, and I needed to spend time with them. So I said, "I can only work part-time for you." The contracts were 6 months on and 2 months off. So I would fill in for the 2 months. Well, now we're going to go to 1997. That was a great year for me. And that's when I won Miss Texas Senior America. And that's also, I was on a cruise, and I wasn't working. I had taken the class of reunion of my reunion friends. There were 80 of us that went. And that's when I met my loving and wonderful husband, Richard Berry. I need to go back when I was working on the cruise ship, okay? And that is when I was working for Princess Cruises. I'm sorry. I can't get my thoughts together here. I'm trying not, I can't read our speech, so I'm just trying to do it from memory. All right, let's go back to when I was working on the cruise ship. And there was a captain, Captain Luland, who was so nice. And Captain Luland wrote a song about me when I won Miss Texas Senior America. He wrote a song about me, and it went through the whole fleet of Princess Cruises. So he and my friend is going to entertain and sing the song, and Richard, my husband.
I have to preface this because when she worked for Princess Cruises, this is already no. Are they Richards? Uh-oh, here we go. You say I'm so vague. You know, I have to preface it. You know, she was, when she worked for Princess Cruises, she worked for different ships. Every time she'd go out, she'd be on a different ship. There's been different staff members, different captains. Well, it turns out that the captains all loved her. Every one of them wanted her when they were on their ship. And there was always a thing about it. Well, this song that Captain Mullen wrote, he actually sent it into the Home Office and said, send this out to the entire fleet. And they did. And I mean, I could tell you stories. I could go on for hours telling you stories. One story, Captain Christie. Now, you know, these ships gotta burn a lot of fuel. They don't wait for anybody. They go. Well, Captain Christie actually waited outside the Panama Canal for her for 30 minutes out in that ship because they didn't pick her up at the plane the way they were supposed to. And that's another story. Ask her to tell you about that. She wound up climbing a rope ladder to get onto the boat out there.
And I was in a suit and high heels. They were at least 3 inches. Yes.
Okay? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You know, stars at night, big and bright, they shine for Mary Frances. It's us up, the one we love. We love our Mary Frances. She said her name.
Hi, y'all. I'm Mary Frances.
Get out of Mary Frances. The girls, nice and pearls, but they weren't Mary Frances. She shined in wings, one shining wings. Who else but Mary Frances? She won their hearts, from the start. Oh, there's Mary Frances. They can't compare with our gal Mary Frances. With our gal Mary Frances.
Richard happened to be the headline entertainer. Richard is a man of many voices. He is a singer, impressionist, multi-instrumentalist, and he also has his PhD, and he's a clinical psychologist. So I'll have to write on him. Anyway, so in 1998, we were married on the cruise ship, on the Love Boat. and I think some of you all read my story about the wedding, and that's another story. I can't take the time to tell you about that, but except to say that there happened to be a Baptist preacher on the cruise, on that cruise, and he wanted to know, well, when were Richard and I going to get married? I said, well, I don't know, we're always so busy cruising. He says, I will marry you. So the Baptist preacher married us, and the captain was Richard's best man, and the cruise director was my maid of honor, and all of the production singers and dancers were our wedding staff. So it was absolutely fantastic. So I just felt so blessed. Well, after that, when we got married, I decided that I couldn't work for Princess Cruises anymore, so I started cruising with Richard. And I must tell you this right quick, he's kind of a cheapskate. Okay, he was allowed to bring a passenger home free because he had a passenger status on the ship. Well, we always flew into one country and out of another country. Well, it got pretty expensive. So he decided he'd put me in his act. So he wouldn't have to pay my way. Anyway, he put me in his act, and I said, but I'm not an entertainer. He says, yes, you are. You're not afraid of the microphone. You've been before thousands of people on the ship, and you can do it. So I started another career. And I was in my 60s then. Anyway, so he put me in we did a skit of George Burns and Gracie Allen. And then I did Minnie Pearl. I'm just here today. But at my age, I'm just proud to be anyway. So Dolly Parton, we also had me doing Dolly Parton 9 to 5. Okay.
And she doesn't want anybody to know this for some reason, but let me just tell the story. We were just on a 3-month cruise. We just got home. The phone had rang. It was one of our agents, and they were saying, we need an opening act. The Oak Ridge Boys are coming through town. She says, oh, Richard, let me give it to Richard. She gives me the phone, and I'm, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is fantastic. Opening for the audience. You know, whoa, slow down, Richard. We don't want you. We want your wife.
The guy was the one who had kissed him right in the mouth. Well, Richard and I have been to 139 countries and all 7 continents. We have really been blessed. But I'll have to tell you that my trip on the missionary boat was the most exciting and most memorable trip of my lifetime. It was a lifetime experience to be with these people, and like I said, I'm a nurse, and I love taking care of the sickest of people. That's why I work in ICU, and I just feel so blessed. And but I'd like to leave you with these thoughts. And that is, regardless of what age you are, young or old, you need to keep a purpose in your life, and you need to keep setting goals for yourself. Now, aging is inevitable. So you might as well have a positive attitude as opposed to a negative one. And now I'm human, I get down every now and then, and have my little pity parties, and you know what they say about pity parties? You're the only one there. But when I get down, when I have my pity party, I get back up stronger than ever.
Yes.
And it's all about attitude, because attitude is everything. And when I was Miss Texas Senior America, I had a commitment for a year. I had to do a bunch of appearances, so I had to take a sabbatical from Princess Cruises then. But I had that year that I was the queen, I went around, I became a motivational speaker, another career. So, and I talked about attitude is everything. And another thing is, I didn't tell you that, is that I don't like talking about myself, but when I won Miss Texas Senior America, I just saw an ad in the paper and I thought, well, that might be fun. It'd be a good experience for me to enter. And I thought, well, what kind of talent am I going to do? Well, I love to talk. God's given me the gift of talking too. So I thought, okay, I'll get a speech together. And I got a speech together on attitude is everything. So I made 75 appearances that year, and I went around speaking and talking to people about attitude, because attitude is everything. And also, as a nurse, and I'm sure those that are nurses out in the audience, that the patients that had positive attitudes would heal so much faster than those that had negative attitudes, because we all have a choice, and that choice is we can either be positive or we can be negative. And something else that a lot of you do not know, but I'm a cougar.
Oh. And I didn't know what a cougar was. But I was volunteering for the Dallas Police intervention, crisis intervention training. They were asking me about my life, and I told them, all my life, blah, 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 how I ended up on cruise ships and got married to Richard, blah, blah, blah. And I said, but he is 9 years younger than I am. And they said, oh, you're a cougar. I didn't even know what a cougar was. But anyway, age is only a number, and ours is not listed.
That's right.
I've been blessed, God has blessed me royally, and in November, I will be 90 years young. Thank all of you all for coming. This is wonderful. Thank you all so much. I got one more thing. Okay. When I was Miss Texas Senior America, when I was the director of Miss Texas Senior America, my very dear and holy stand-up Paula, she was my queen in 2010. She was Miss Texas Senior America in 2010, and now this is another pageant. She is Miss World of the 70s.
And let me tell you what, I'm 79 years old yesterday. So much energy, so much power that I can handle anything because of what she was doing. When she was my director, every morning, how's my little queen doing? And it's because of her and Richard. He's my brother by another mother. And we have been so close and been that way and will always be that way. And she is my best friend and I'll love her to death, and she is the most wonderful person in the world.
I don't know if there it is. Hello? So as I mentioned, as I mentioned earlier, this is our second annual DWUP Union Park Crafty House International Woman of the Year. So that means we have another one, and I would like her to come up right now. Connie, I said your name. Connie and Mary Frances, would you both please come here? I have just a little memento here. I need you to say your last name. This is Connie and Mary Frances, and they each have a plaque. This is Mary Frances' gift. And Sandra's giving me one more thing. Sandra? Yeah, what's in the closet?
Did y'all make this?
No. Connie would like to help her.
So much. When you talked about the Amazon, I am from the Democratic Republic of Congo. So when you're talking about the Amazon River, I can relate to that. The Congo River, we have the second rainforest in the world after the Amazon. So the work that you did, I can very well relate to that. Thank you so much.
Well, it was a blessing. You were so welcome. It was a blessing.
Taking care of those good patients, you know, I came from that.
Yes,
I
yes.
did. Yes. And I just want to thank you for what you did.
Oh, thank you so much.
And now, Sandra will hold this up for us. This is going to stay in our lobby here for every year as we have our next International Woman of the Year. So we've got Connie and Mary Frances on there now, and we will continue this. Mary, Connie and Mary Frances. Mary Frances. Bring your plaque, bring your plaque. Let's get a picture of the two of you. And it's interesting to me, we heard Connie's story last year, but both of these ladies were professional nurses. Now I need to recognize a couple other people. A couple of people are sitting here in native dress for their own countries. Could you stand up, please? Stand up. Connie, Emmanuel, stand up. Anybody else in native dress? There we go. Thank you. And now I need more people to stand up because many of you brought decorations and they are fabulous. So if you brought a decoration or if you brought food, you're a crafty pal, so please stand up. So, our back room is filled with tables, but not a lot of chairs because they're all out here. Over here is our finger foods, and would like the choir to go first. And because we appreciate you. Sally, do I have something to give to Mr. Leonis? There you are, Mr. Leonis. This is our thank you for coming today.
So much. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to let the choir lead us, and everybody who lives here knows the drill. We move the chairs back into the other room. So you can sit out here to eat. There's a couple tables you can be at, but there's a lot of tables in the back room. So come have a good time.